just kind of get into like a random topic, like the whole like video games as art kind of
Hmm.
discussion and everything.
Yeah.
What was kind of like your stance on that? Like, as far as like, because like it obviously like stemmed from what Roger Ebert said, like from about video games being art, well, like not being art really was his argument. Um, and there was just like this huge like fan backlash, like very negative kind of backlash, against Roger Ebert of all people. And like, did you have that initial reaction as well, like knowing like how positive a
Um,
person you are, especially in the realm of video games?
I was bothered that a person would say that about about video games, of course, but I was like, it's this guy's opinion, and he doesn't even play video games, so who cares?
Right.
Type of thing. Like, it's kind of the way that I feel about a lot of people saying that, like not just Roger Ebert, but rather like anyone that has ever thought like, oh, video games aren't art, they're just for little kids or for like people that live in a basement.
That's just a baby toy.
Exactly. And it's like, they're not though, but it's okay because we're still super young and video games will like cause people to see, oh, this is art. And like it will make debates about whether or not video games can be art. But hopefully one day we will be able to rival movies and books, and people will see like, oh shit, yeah, this could win an Oscar type of shit. Like, oh, this is good, this is really good.
I mean, like Journey won like a Grammy, so I mean,
Exactly. I think that one day we're gonna see video games reach that point, but we're not there yet because we're still super young and we still have a lot of video games that aren't really pushing the envelope.
right.
But not to shit on those games either, but yeah, it's the ones that push the envelope that will get us there, basically. And it's the gamers that aren't gonna fit a stereotype that will get us there as well.
And I think kind of like follow that up too. Like there's like that stigma as well that like the mainstream media and just like people as a whole, just like your average Joe, like not necessarily like gamers, just kind of see what video games are. It's just like, oh, it's just something my kids play, and I'm just in the other room just trying to avoid all the noise because loud
Exactly.
noises.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, and it comes with the age of video games. Like our parents didn't grow up with video games, so they don't know how great they are.
Yeah.
So I think that with this new generation that's growing up playing video games and believing that it is just as good as movies and books and anything else, TV, whatever, it'll change.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, video games will be accepted more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to like to see that shift and change now. Like, when I see like friends of mine who are getting married, who are having kids of their own, and like these are people who I used to play video games with, like, in high
Yeah.
school, college, whatever. And now like we are the generation that basically grew up with video games. Like, I mean, I'm gonna sound old, but like I grew up first playing Commodore 64.
Oh my God.
until until I got
And
like
you're like Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, yeah, 16-bit graphics.
Oh, yeah.
But the Game Boy is like spinach green, like
Looks like shit.
looks like or the Game Gear commercials for that shit. But yeah, no, like I grew up with like the Commodore 64 first until I got like until I got an NES when I was 5, and like and I'm 30 now, so I mean like I could see myself like when I have like kids and I'm gonna basically be instilling my super nerdy like gaming type of like knowledge like onto them, and that might seem normal because like as far as I'm concerned, like the video game industry is in a very good state right now. Especially with quality titles pushing out and everything. Like I think it's just going to further like the industry in the sense that it's becoming as big and potentially maybe it might be a long shot on this one, but potentially maybe even surpassing like the movie industry.
Well, considering how much money it takes to make a game nowadays, it might just.
It might just. You
And
never know.
and it's video games are incredible because they could tell a story the same way that a movie does, and they could tell well, not the same way, what I'm saying, but they could tell a story like a movie does, and they could tell a story like a book does, and they could have reading like a book does, and they can have you actually interacting with the characters and being a part of it. Like it enhances what books and movies can do. Not that books and movies are like any less than it. I think that there's value to be had in every art medium.
Right.
But yeah, I think that games do have the ability to surpass.
It's just like a different media consumption, really, in that sense.
Exactly.
And like as far as like being like a movie, I mean that's been pretty obvious ever since ever since cinematics have been like a part of video games.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you said books because there was that game. It's like a mobile game called District 6. I'm not sure if you heard of it before.
No, I didn't ever hear about
It's
it.
it's an iOS game. It's an iPhone game. Where it basically plays out like a book, like as if you're flipping through.
Oh, is it like 999 Virtue's Last Reward? Visual novels, basically?
Kind of, yeah. But like it has like puzzles, like as you're going through like each page.
Yeah, it's definitely the same thing.
It's like that. Okay, yeah. So like it's interesting like to see how much further people are pushing the idea of what a video game is, and like even up that. And when you said books, it's like Jesus, I just saw like a game that's basically a book. It's like a puzzle book.
No, it's crazy because I actually made a joke on Twitter. Well, of course, I made a joke about how like I'm gonna stop saying video games and I'm gonna start saying interactive media instead to be snobby. And then somebody commented about how like technically there's a lot of things that can be interactive media, and I'm like, then there's a lot of things that could be video games.
Yeah.
Then everything's like a video game.
It's like, see that cabbage over there? Video games.
Video games.
I can interact with that cabbage.
Grab it, throw it. Video games.
Cabbage. Cabbage 64. Coming to a system near you.
Oh, God.
Cabbage 2, The Reckoning.
Cabbage 2, Electric Boogaloo. I think that, I think we're on to something, man. I think that video games are gonna be better than books. Oh shit! Drop the mic. Shots fired.
I'm not saying video games are better than everything, but video games are better than everything.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Do not get me started with Anchorman quotes, alright? Do not get me started.